Good morning. I'm going to make a video about valve index controllers on X-Plane 12.1.1. And seems to be some problems with a few people, controllers not working. So I have started with a completely clean version of X-Plane. I deleted the joystick configuration file, and I've removed all of my joysticks with the exception of the valve index controllers. So I've just started up X-Plane, and basically I got into the cockpit, and then I told it I wanted to go into VR, and now we're in the hangar. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on joystick. So on mine, so I should have a left and a right. Okay. So I have a left and a right, and the reason is that if I go over to hardware, this is kind of grayed out, but it says use OpenXR. I can't quite read it. Let me runtime. Okay. So when that is checked, the valve index controllers show up as left and right. If that isn't checked, they'll just say, I think it just says valve index controller. It doesn't do left and right. And when they added OpenXR support, that added that. So a couple of things. So the way I'm going to switch over to my right, just easier for me. So I'm using my right controller. So the button furthest away from my thumb, if I push that down, that's button 1. Button 2 is a grip. If I squeeze the controller, that's the grip button. Button 2 is the thumbstick. So if I push down on the thumbstick, that's that button. Button 4 is a trigger. So if I pull the trigger back a little bit, see if it's just a little bit, it doesn't light it up. A little bit more, now it lights it up. And so it's about, I would say, 2/3. And then 5 is the button closest to my thumb. So if I push that down, that's that button. So the menu button is what makes the flower menu work. Also, for the flower menu to work, these have to work. So you have a touchpad, axis 0, touchpad X, Y, and trigger. And so we're going to jump over in the cockpit. So there's 2 ways for me to get the flower menu. One is I can just squeeze the grip. That gets it to me. If I squeeze it again, it goes away. The other is the button closest to my thumb. If I push that down, that gets that. And if you have the X and the Y working, this should work. And you know, so I'm using the joystick and I'm just moving it over, but I can't remember if it's the X or the Y, but so if I move it over there and I pull on the trigger, then that brings up this menu. Then if I use the trigger pulling down as opposed to left and right, pull down, pull down, pull down, pull down, that basically strokes through the menu. If I squeeze the grip again, that menu goes away. So I'm going to go back into the, this needs to be fixed. This is really, really, really hard to see. I know where it is, so, and we default, I guess, to left. So I'm on the right controller. So what I wanted to do is kind of show if you kind of mess something up. So we're going to go over here and we'll break this. So if I click on collective, if I actually get out of here, then my right controller, and actually I'm going to do that. So it's on collective. I'm going to go over here and get on done, resume flight. So So what's going on here is the up and down is the only one working. But not the left and right. You see, that's not working. So left and right isn't working, up and down does. And that's because the, see if I can get here. Well, gonna have to do it with the other controller. That's why I only did it with one. All right, let's go back here. So we'll go, okay. Because I had it on collective, then the touchpad X wasn't working. So we'll say you've done that, okay? So you can fix it. So all you need to do is go over here and say reset default right controller. So if I click on that, reset joystick configurations. Surprisingly, that's an X now. That's VR touchpad X. So basically what it does is it goes into the joystick configuration files, and it basically reloads all of this. We'll say I do this. So I'm going to do this none. Because this is real important to, if you kind of mess something up, it's real important. So I got that as none. So I'm going to go over here and going to go back in the cockpit. So I did it on my right one. So now if I squeeze it, it doesn't work. But if I use the button, it does. So since I fixed the other part, this is going to work. So, but now if I squeeze it, nope, I can't get rid of that menu. So I have to use the button. So I have to remember that. Okay, so we'll go back over here, and it defaults to left. So, and I changed the right one. So I'll go to right, do nothing. So same thing. If I go here, reset. That's basically fixed again. So if I go back over here into the cockpit, I squeeze, that works again. So I just wanted to kind of go over, you know, the things that I think you can kind of break and make these VR controllers not work correctly. So I have a feeling it's not everything, because I have a feeling there can be some other things going on that aren't currently obvious to me. So I'll go back in the configuration. Like I said, I got to file a bug report on that. The problem is that this gray area here needs to go up underneath settings. So this needs to be backlit just like this is. That setting and those buttons, that setting may be a little bit bigger font, not a lot. But that's easy to read. Settings is not. Over here, the menu thing to get into settings, that's really hard to read. But if this grade part went extended all the way to the top, problem solved. And I'm not so sure why we still don't have this fixed yet, because that's all it takes. Just make this grade a translucent window, extend up. If it did, all of that would be readable. So, and as long as I'm I'm making a recording anyhow, this will end up on YouTube. Hopefully we can get this fixed. And the same thing, if I screw up the left one, if I just click on this, then basically it takes the joystick configuration file and it basically populates this, just like it did all by itself when I started X-Plane. I had deleted the joystick configuration file. It's gone, and it on the fly populated this just like this. This is all default. So you have two reserve menus. Top ones do nothing. And so thumbstick, trigger button, menu button, thumbstick, trigger, menu button. So I think, trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing. Yes, there is. Okay, so the other thing. Let's get into Steam. So in case that might be an issue, I'm not sure. So on the Valve Index controller, there's a very, very little recessed button. So if you push down on that button, that's going to take you basically here. So we go to controller bindings. And so bindings for X-Plane, active bindings. I'm using a custom binding. That may be an issue, whether you're using a default or custom. I happen to use custom. I'm not sure. That might be an issue. I hadn't thought about that at all. So basically, I'm going to click on, where does choose another? Where does that take me? Okay. So you can see that my current binding is this one here. This is one that I've messed with a little bit. I don't think it's that different than this one. This one's the official bindings from X-Plane. So if your current binding is not this, then if you click on activate, that will activate this binding. And so it's a binding. And remember I said you had to have OpenXR have that ticked. So if it's ticked, it's going to be using this binding. So it's going to be using, and you're using Valve Index controllers. So it's going to be using bindings from OpenXR for Knuckles. Knuckles, Valve Index controllers are the same thing. But if I click up here and click on view, basically this is the same as how mine are. So if I go over here, so we got a trigger button. There's that's one of it's for value. Notice that the trackpad doesn't have anything. This trackpad is disabled. There's no information underneath, like you see joystick, a thumbstick. Underneath here, you see joystick, use this button. There's stuff underneath it. Trackpad is disabled. That trackpad is not used because it gets in the way. Button A, let me look, button B, button A, okay. And grip. So grip we use as a force sensor. So force, blah, blah. Nothing here. I think we're at the bottom. So that's the grip is used as input squeeze. So it is looking at force. Back. Okay. So once again, I'll go back all the way. Let me go here. Turn the game. Once again, if I'm right here, or pretty much anywhere, if I click on the little recessed button on the Valve Index controller, and this is only for the Valve Index controller, if I push that button, it's going to take me to this screen. So basically, you're still in the hangar, but basically this is a Steam screen. So, and if I click on here, controller bindings, and then in my case, I'm just going to click on edit this binding. So basically, it takes me to basically my personal binding for this, but it came from the official bindings. That's where it started at, and I've looked at it quite a bit. It's not any different. This binding and this binding are the same. I just put my name on it. That's it. There's no difference here, you know. So down in here, you can see for me, you know, I have personal bindings. So I have a bunch of them, you know. And if you save your own, if you do the same thing, take the official one and basically save it yourself, then you'll have personal bindings down here too. So, but, okay, I think, yeah. So once we're in here, then if we click on now playing, so that takes me to X-Plane. One other thing I'll just quickly go over here is video settings. So basically I am using, let me, close. Okay, so my headset's, I'm running at 75 hertz. I'm, have the, SteamVR, set at 100%. So that's 3560 by 3560. And, that's what kind of Steam gives. My headset is a 2560 or 2580 by 2580. But when Steam thinks it needs to be that much higher for it to be correct. So I have it set there. And then per application. So per application, this is explained. So I have the resolution multiplier, so I'm taking 70% of that 20 or at 35 something. I'm taking 70% of that. So that's kind of what I'm rendering to X-Plane. X-Plane is a little under 3000 by 3000. Custom scale, field of view, 100%. World override scale, nope, I don't need it. I believe it's correct. Other people do not. Legacy, that's off. Legacy reprojection is off. I am using throttling. That 45 is left over from my previous headset that used to run at 90. I may be able to change it, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, but I just wanted to kind of go over, how I have the video set up in my big screen beyond. Let me look at audio. Is there anything kind of, no, this is all because I have the Beyond audio strap. That's what my audio output device is. Analog device, mirroring. No, I used to do that, but I don't anymore. Okay, back. Return to game. Okay, I think I'm done. Took a little longer than I wanted. Because it says user profile, the joystick configuration file is going to be kind of in the default place. If you make a profile, then there's going to be a folder under that, a folder under one that says user profile, and that's where the joystick configuration file for that profile will be. So yes. All right, done. Resume flight. Okay, we got these things working again. Yep. Okay. And so that's what the X and Y is. So I can get to that one and down. And if you have, like I showed, if you have one of them not working, do right. So if I take and do collective, and go back over here, resume flight. Now, go to the side. Doesn't work. Well, that's interesting. Huh. Oh. Being a little stupid. So if I hit squeeze, now if I'm going to the left, that doesn't work. Go down or up, and even a little bit over. So all I get is those two. But if I go to the left and the right, I don't get that. So had to find a way to get back. Alrighty. Right index. Collective. All right, that fixed it. Yeah. Prove it, Bill. Resume flight. Yep. So I just wanted to kind of go over that, you know, as to things that will break this functionality. There may be other things that I just not aware of, but I just wanted to show the things that I know for sure will break it. If there's other things, those are bugs, and they gotta be brought to Laminar's attention so we can get them fixed. But I think right now, I think I've accomplished what I wanted to get done. So I'll put this video up on YouTube, and basically I just wanted to go over how the valve index controllers work with OpenXR in Explain 12.1.1. And I think that's it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.